Well, hey, welcome back to the podcast. I'm excited to be with you today. I am going to share with you today an amazing training from my inner circle. The training is on how you can create an email opt-in. So if you're like, okay, Jen, what is an email opt-in? Well, you can call it a freebie. Some people call it a freemium. It's basically where people will put their email on your website and you collect emails. And so you've all given your email out in places, you have opted in to people's mailing list. And so my training in the inner circle is how to create your own email opt-in, which every single one of you should have if you are in business. So I'm excited to share this with you today. Also, it's my birthday month. So there's that. And I'm doing a birthday sale of my inner circle, which I took this recording out of. And so make sure you listen to the very end because I have a special birthday prize, gift, etc., just for you. And if you're a really visual person, you could go ahead and watch this podcast on YouTube. All right, friends, without further ado. Good morning, everyone. You get Nell and I both today. I have a little bit of a sore throat. And I've had a sore throat for several days now. No other symptoms of anything, but anyhow, Nell and I were talking yesterday because I am teaching a workshop this afternoon. And by the way, if you guys have not signed up for that, you should. I'll give you a code here in just a second. But anyway, Nell's like, well, I'll do it with you. And I'm like, thank you, because my throat hurts. So if you see me popping wild cherry flavored Pop Drops, I apologize. If I'm popping them like candy, it's because I'm also off sugar right now. And they do have just a little sugar in them. So it's like I'm getting my throat feeling better as I'm getting a little bit of a sugar fix.
I have never been a throat, like a lozenge person.
Really?
Mm-mm.
What do you do if your throat hurts? Like I tried like gargling.
Get a cherry limeade.
Cherry limeade, really?
From Sonic. That's like, if my throat hurts, I'm getting the cherry limeade. That's what gets me through.
Fascinating, because it's cold.
To what?
Because it's cold.
And it's Sprite, like Sprite always makes you feel good, right? I don't know. I grew up in a house where Sprite was the answer to everything.
Hilarious. I grew up in a 7-Up house. Anybody else have 7-Up?
Sprite house. And I don't drink anything hot, so I don't drink any of that, but a cherry limeade is it's just enough sugar, it like coats your throat. It's perfect. I just live on those.
Interesting. Somebody else said 7-Up. Okay. Funny thing. And then we'll get started here. When Easton Allwood turned 7 years old, we had a birthday party for him and he's holding a can of 7-Up like this. And he's just grinning ear and ear because he thought that he could finally now drink 7 and up. And I'm like, that is so cute. It's 7-Up, not 7 and up. But so anyway, all right. So we're talking today about freebies. Also, you could call those opt-ins. What else do people call them now? Some people call them freemiums. Those are the only words I know of off the top of my head.
Freebie, opt-in, premium. Yeah.
Is that it? We covered those. Essentially, it's just a way to get people onto your email list. And the reason we're doing this today is because we had like 1 month where we talked about like your Instagram bio, and another month we were talking about your Facebook pages. And, the things that we're trying to focus on the most here in Inner Circle are your social media and your email. And so then when we had our last live call, I happened to mention, do you guys need like ideas, for your freebies? And you were all like, yes. So that's why we're doing this topic this month. I think it will be really helpful for you. And even if you already are somebody who has a freebie, an opt-in or what have you, I think that just getting some additional ideas and just, maybe jazzing some things up, just redoing a little bit of a refresh. And some additional ideas, because we have lots of opt-ins. We don't have just one. We have how many now? Maybe 10, do you think?
Oh, more than that.
Do we? Okay. That we rotate and we use, at different times. So that's what we're talking about today.
Kind of dormant just until we need them.
Yes.
So in the comments, a couple people said lead magnet. I was like, there is another word, lead magnet.
Lead magnet. There you go.
Our like what we say on our team pretty much all the time is an opt-in. Like that is our kind of
and one day I thought to myself, why are they called opt-ins? And then I was like, oh, because it's like, I'm giving somebody something and they're like, okay, like, I guess I'll opt in. Is that why? I mean, otherwise, why would it be called
opting into being on your email list?
Right.
So it's how you get them to opt into your email list.
I know. And I was like, but it's kind of a weird terminology, but here we are. Okay. So we're going to take questions at the end and you can ask your questions in the Q&A box down below or raise your hand and we can pull you up on the screen. Okay. So if you've got your calendar in front of you, next Wednesday, which is May the 24th, Nella's going to be leading a work session. So she's going to help you guys to work on some of your freebies and get those ready to go. So mark that on your calendar. And then the last Wednesday of this month, because we try to get you guys something every Wednesday. That's just been the habit that we've done for a long, long time. This is one of those lucky months in the year where there are 5 Wednesdays, 5 Wednesdays instead of only 4. So we're going to do something just a little bit different. Some of you have been into these before, but we're going to have an insiders connection call. And so this is your opportunity to meet other people who are here in the group, make some business connections, learn from each other, and really just work on the community piece of the inner circle. So that is the last Wednesday of the month, and it's also at 10 a.m. CST. So all of the details are in the group. And Heather says she loves the connection call. So we haven't done one for a little bit. So that will be the last Wednesday of the month. So can you believe we're like halfway through May?
I can't believe, because like some of the schools are out here. Like all of our homeschool friends were already out, but even our public schools are out in like 8 days.
Okay.
Wild.
Now I have some really deep thoughts about public schools that I probably don't need to discuss here on the inner circle call, but let me just tell you this. Okay. Because it does actually like relate to what we're doing. Number one, did you know that most A students end up working for they end up working for like government types of entities. Most B students work for corporations. Most C students end up being entrepreneurs. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
There's data to support that. I'm just curious how many of you were C students. I was not, but I'm just curious if anybody was a C student that's here. And so it's interesting because Noah Allwood was an AB student, Easton Allwood, A student across the board. Ava Allwood, C student. Hates school, but doesn't want to be homeschooled, but she's a freshman. And for the last 2 weeks, they've been watching movies. She did coloring pages in one of her classrooms last week. She gets to nap after they take tests. They all get to nap. And so we've been letting her skip.
Yeah. Why?
Because we're over this year too. And I'm like, I am not sending you there just so that you can nap and do coloring pages. Stay home. She wants to be a doula, a midwife. And so I'm like, I'm over it. I'm over the school year also. so there's that. Okay. Let's talk about freebies. I need to do like a whole podcast sometime about public education. And I'm not complaining about it, but I am complaining about it. It's just, I feel like 2020 changed everything. So, all right. Here's what we need to talk about. Let's talk about freebies. We want to talk first about why freebies are so important. Then we're going to talk about what is included in like a really good freebie. Because if it's not good, if it's not titled good, you're not going to get anybody to opt in. Some other things that we want you guys to consider, and then we're going to take your questions. Okay. Is that good, Nell? You good with that?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. So let's go through some of the reasons why freebies are so important. And we do have a bunch of notes here so that I stay on task and don't get started on all the squirrel conversations. But so we can kind of bounce back and forth here now. But the first reason that you need to have an opt-in or a freebie is just to get new leads, is just to get people onto your email list. What other people that are more professional than I will say is they call it lead generation. How are you getting more people onto your email list? Because all of you know that social media is a dumpster fire with reach. And so the reach from an email list is so much better. It's so much higher. And so but first you got to get people on there. You got to get them to go from your social media to going onto your email list. And studies have shown that providing a really valuable freebie in exchange for an email will boost your conversion rates and expand your list size. So freebies are there simply to get you more people on your email list. So now I'll let you go next.
So the next one is conversion rates. So you kind of said it's part of the process. And, Jen, you always talk about like, you have to get them to be, before you get married, you have to go on a date. Before you get on a date, you have to get to know each other. And there's that process in social media, like liking is, we're just getting to know each other. Sharing your content is like to the next base. Email, getting on someone's email list is the same way. It is harder to get someone that you have just met to buy something than it is to get someone who's on your email list to buy something. So if you get people on your email list with something free, that's like, hey, we're getting to know each other. You've given me your phone number. Now we're going to talk and we're going to text a little bit before I ask you on a date where you're going to buy something. And so that that's just the step in that process. So your conversion rates for sales will be improved if you have people on your email list, and the way you get people on your email list is with a freebie.
Is a good freebie. Yep. Third reason that freebies are so important is for engagement and brand awareness. So freebies are just going to naturally enhance your engagement and raise brand awareness, because when people find them, a lot of times they'll share it with other people. And this is going to get you more exposure, more reach. Now I can think of several times when people have said, did you listen to that podcast from, so-and-so, and she has a great freebie at the end of it. Like, you should totally go listen to that. And, or like, hey, I just saw, like, a lot of people have shared our VRBO freebie because they know other people who are wanting to start their first Airbnb or VRBO. And so it really does help you get more people to start following you, to be on your email list without having to do ads, because ads get expensive. And so if you need a good way to get more people on board, following you, understanding what it is that you offer and what you do, and you don't want to be paying for ads, having good freebies will help with that.
Yep. I was just going to add that if you can have a really good solid freebie, even because sometimes you're thinking, well, it's free, I don't want to put too much into it. But if you can have a really, like, your freebie could have as much value as something you sell, because you want to give away one thing. And you can really be known for that. I was just thinking of Adrienne, Jen's friend who does Facebook ads. She has a freebie that is like the different ways you can target people once, the targeting got turned off. It got hard for Facebook ads. It's like, I know her for that. So anytime someone is talking about Facebook ads, I'm like, oh, you should get this freebie from this girl, Adrienne. Like, so that's her brand. Like, she is known for that. And she's giving away something that she could sell.
Yeah.
She could sell that. So
she could 100% sell that. And I think it's part of like what she teaches in her monthly, group, but it's okay to have a freebie that is also something that you teach on. Does that make sense? I think
it helps you be known for that. Yeah.
That's perfect.
The next reason to have freebies is for your current customers. It helps with just loyalty and retention. So, every time we have a freebie, a lot of times we will send it in our, like, we have a new one, we'll send it in our Sunday night email to our current list. And we don't make you opt into it again. We just say, hey, here's something we created. Like we did that with the Chat GPT. Jen had a podcast about it, and we made a new opt-in for it. So we sent it to everyone that was already on our list, just because it nurtures, it reinforces, like I said, loyalty and retention. Like, it's a way to serve your current customers. So when you have a new opt-in, send it to all of your people that are already on your list. Use that as one of your weekly emails.
Good way to love on them.
Great way to love on them. Yep.
Great way to love on them. And the last reason would be for upselling and cross-selling opportunities. So even Rachel Fehrenbach in here just said she literally just got Adrienne's freebie and bought her upsell off of it. So she just proved our point right there. So freebies can often lead to an upsell. So, a lot of times we'll send people a freebie, and then, there's emails that come after it that are like, hey, if you like that freebie, you'll probably like this. If they loved your freebie and felt like there was so much value in it, think of it almost as like a really good appetizer. If you go to a restaurant you've never been to before and you order an appetizer and it's like awful, that kind of makes you go, gosh, hope dinner's decent. Sometimes people even get up and leave if the experience wasn't good. But if you get something like an appetizer, which is your freebie, and it's exceptional, and it's over meets all of your expectations, then you're super excited about the big thing that you're going to be paying for, which is the dinner. So think of your customers as feeling like that with your freebies. Make sure that there is enough value in it that they're really more inclined to consider, look at, and then buy your paid thing. So podcasts are a really great example of this, because podcasts they're not a freebie necessarily, but it's a great resource to send potential customers to when they have a question. It builds your brand awareness and allows you a platform where you can really pitch your freebies on. So what were you going to say now?
I was just going to give a little like pro ninja hack for upselling.
Pro ninja hack for sure.
Here we go. So if you have a freebie that you're running ads to, one of the ways that because it's hard to get people to spend money in an ad, but it's easier to get them to get something free. So when you have a freebie there's something called the thank you page. And so it's like you put in your name and email, and then a screen comes up that says, thank you, here is the thing I said I would give you. If you are like us, like in the middle of a challenge, we put that thank you page to be the sign up for the challenge. And then at the top, we put a little banner that's like, here's your freebie. And if you liked this, you're going to love this. And then it's the sign up page. So it's a way to get a paid product in front of an ad audience by giving them something for free. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So anyway, that's how you can add things on, when even whether you're doing ads or not, on the thank you page is where you can put those upsell opportunities or like promote something else. So it's like you get them for something for free and you give them the free thing, but then you're also like, hey.
Yep. So hopefully we just established why they're important, but let's talk about what a really good freebie is going to look like. And by the way, I think that this is dependent upon industry. So whatever it is that you do, like, apply it to your own industry. But here's some things that I'll just run through these real quick. So what a good freebie looks like. And if you're taking notes, write these down. So it should be something that saves people time or offers them a lot of value. So I think about, like, we have a book of prayers for entrepreneurs. So that I would think is, offering somebody a lot of value. We also have 50 of our top email headlines. That's saving somebody time because they don't have to go look stuff up. So a good freebie should either save time or give them incredible value. It should be super relevant to your audience's interests and needs. So, make sure that you can somehow bring it back to the industry that you're actually in. If you're somebody that teaches people how to eat keto, you don't really want to be doing a freebie like we just did for ChatGPT. Like it's not something that's relevant to your target audience. So there's that. Make sure there is an easy win that comes with it. When people, if they get a freebie from you and they feel like, wow, this was a win, then they are so much more inclined to buy something from you. And so I agree with what Nell said earlier. Sometimes people are concerned, I don't want to give too much in the freebie. If I give too much, then they're not going to want to buy the thing. No, if you over deliver on the free thing, it is amazing how much more they'll be like, well, that was so good. I can only imagine what the paid thing is. So make sure that gives them a win of some sort. And like with Adrian's thing, for instance, and I did put her name there in the chat for you guys. Find her on Instagram, by the way, several people were asking. What was I going to say? Oh gosh,
about easy win.
Easy win. Gosh, I don't remember, but I don't remember. Anyway, I'll come back to it. But make sure it's easy to consume. Make sure that it's you're always supposed to, when you're doing things like a freebie, like a social media post, write things at a 6th grade level. And so make sure that it's, if you're doing maybe some sort of a report or something like that, this is not the time to try to appear like overly smart. You want it to be an easy win and you want it to be easy to consume. You don't want it. So bring it down to their level. Okay. Make sure it's actionable, make sure it's practical, make sure it's educational, and make sure it's well-designed and professional. We have Businessist agency that could design something for you guys. If you're like, okay, I come off this thing with Nell and Jen, and Nell gave me this exceptional idea. Jen sucked on her, throat lozenges. And now I just need somebody to design something. Use Businessist. That is exactly the types of things that they are there for. And it's businessistagency.com if somebody wants to write that in here. Make sure it's easy for people to get. Nell and I can tell you that if you have too hard of a URL for people to even remember, if it's not something that they can find easily on your Instagram bio, if it's not, pinned to the top of your Facebook or something, if it's not easy for them to access, meaning they have to jump through 10 hoops to get it, people are just like, good grief, this is too stinking hard. So they won't actually finish the opting in process. And make sure it promotes engagement and further action. So if you can get people talking about your free thing on your social media, it'll just even put it in front of more people and get more people to sign up. So, all right, Nell, turning it over to you. Yep.
Okay, I just want to give a little something about the easy to access. So in the email world, there's like single opt-in or double opt-in, or some people call it like verification. So if you ever opted into something and they're like, now check your inbox for a verification email, then you have to go to your inbox. You have to find the verification email. You have to click on the verification email that's like, yes, I promise I did want to sign up for this. That's annoying. I don't like
so annoying.
And so turn it off. Really, the email providers, some of them have that auto on, and you can turn that off. Mm-hmm. So make sure whenever you get your email opt-in set up, make sure you have your husband, a kid, a friend test it out from their own phones, from their own computers. And if they say, oh, that was still turned on, figure out how to turn that off, because that is one of those things that makes it hard to access. The other thing is the reCAPTCHA, where you have to click the little check marks, and then it's like,
I'm not a robot. Is
Yes.
that what it's? Okay.
Yes. And then it'll come up with a picture that says, which of these has stairs? And you're like, I don't know.
Which of these has stoplights? And I'm like, okay, wait a second. Is that a
Looking- yeah.
stoplight or is that a fire hydrant?
Or the one where it's like, type in the letter
X2, Y4. Yeah.
You do not have to have that. Now, the reason that is there, if you're a huge business and a bot comes after your business, the worst that's going to happen is you're going to get 100 bots subscribed to your email list that you can delete. You do not have to have that. So turn those off. That is a barrier to entry. People are not going to sign up for your email list if you're double opt-in or if you have the reCAPTCHA turned on. Sometimes if it's like cost or there's money involved, that's different. You might want to have the reCAPTCHA on to make sure that, you know, you're not getting spammed by something. But for the average business, like we're not Walmart, right? We're not getting hundreds of thousands of hits a day.
Right.
So we're probably fine. So I would turn those things
No.
There you go.
All right. So let me tell you just a couple things to consider. I'll take the first one, then I'll let Nell take the one on format. So when you are coming up with ideas, planning, making your freebie, here's some things I want you to consider. Number one, see what others in your industry are offering and use that as just like a launching pad for ideas. Don't copy, but be inspired. And sometimes I think it's super helpful for you to go over to Pinterest and type in, 50 top email headlines was one of our freebies, but you could go type in something like that and kind of see what pops up. And I guarantee you that you can like popcorn off of what you see, because it'll just lead you to, oh, I know what I could do, even if it's not in your industry, if that makes sense. So see what others in your industry are doing. Also look at other industries, but that will help you just to get some ideas. So that's number one. Now I'll let you take the formats.
There's a lot of different ways you can deliver a freebie. So I'm going to go through those.
Yes.
The first one is a PDF. So the reason that you give things as a PDF, it is essentially a Word document, but any computer can open it and print it. So if you go to who took a high school class in Microsoft Office? Anybody? Remember when we learned Microsoft Word?
Actually, mine was college. I was really old. Yeah.
Okay, so when you make a document in like Microsoft Office or even in Google Docs, right? Depending on what your computer is, it looks different on how everyone else opens it. Like if you have different programs or whatever. So a PDF just makes everything universal. So PDF is a great way to save whatever document you've made to give to everyone where anyone can open it. You can open it on your phone, you can print it, all of that stuff. So the first one is a PDF. Next is a video. You can put a video into YouTube with like an unpublished link.
Unpublished or private. Is it
Right,
private? Is that what it's called? Okay.
You can, I think it's one of them is you have to tell YouTube who you want it to show, and one of them you don't. So, but it's an option whenever you're putting it there. You can put it in, Searchy, Vimeo, whatever place you can put videos and send people a link. So a video is a way to deliver a freebie. So it's like, get this free recording of this training, or get this video where I'm going to give you the 10 tips on how to do this in a video format. A checklist. Now, a checklist you would probably deliver as a PDF. There's other ways to deliver it, but some kind of checklist. A printable. I actually really like this one for a lot of businesses because it's something that people have if it works with your business. Like if you do anything in the kitchen or cooking or anything like that, like a printable where it's conversion chart that's pretty and you have it hanging up in your kitchen, or substitutions. Because then the reason I love a printable is you have it sitting up and it's always on the top of mind for people, because if they put it in a frame or they put it in their kitchen or it's something they're using often. So if it's a pretty good, if you're in a homeschool community, you should have a ton of printables as your freebies. A template, a tool. These are some other options. So maybe you do something that has a certain, like if you teach something in the tech industry or like websites, maybe you have a template that works for lead pages, or maybe you have a tool that is like an online tool and you give people access to it. So that's a freebie. A calculator or a spreadsheet. I love a good calculator.
I know you do.
You know me at all.
I know you do.
Calculator or a spreadsheet template. Some template that people can put in their own information. Next is some kind of podcast or audio. Jen was talking about podcasts. You can have a private podcast. You just don't publish it to all the places. So when we do like Jen's VRBO, we put the podcast. It's on the Jennifer Allwood show, like as far as the back end goes. We just did not publish it to everyone. And so we have all of the episodes on a landing page. And so people opt in, they can get all those episodes. And then I thought of one more.
I thought of one more too.
Oh, okay.
Jinx, you
forgot
owe me
mine.
a Coke. Let's see if it's the same
Hey,
one. So
yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
thinking about how we have those freebies like that are your phone wallpapers.
Oh, good. That's a good one. Or even a
Yep.
desktop wallpaper, some kind of
We have
like that.
wallpapers.
Perfect.
Yep.
The one I was thinking of is if you have any kind of, do you have anything where you can give like a 5-day trial or a 10-day trial or 14-day trial? That can be a freebie. So if you have a tool or if you have some kind of website or some kind of service or something where you can offer a trial, that can be a freebie too.
And so we send all of our freebies immediately after they give their email on the thank you page. And then we tell them we'll send a copy to their email inbox for safekeeping also. I think you already mentioned that. But and so the biggest thing is like we have a variety of all of those different formats. We don't just have all videos. We don't just have all PDFs. We have a variety. And I think it's important so that you can like test what brings in the most people, gather feedback, and then kind of adjust to what your next freebie is going to do. Don't be afraid to reuse and redo old freebies. I keep thinking that we need to redo like our book of prayers for people. And so you can reuse old freebies that you might have already made in the past and just put new content, new branding, just give them a refresh. And that way you're not reinventing the wheel. And so, or if you have an opt-in that is literally not bringing anybody in, then I would probably think about redoing it and do something else. So
yeah. I was saying, because your original devotional, which we still have that as well, was like 60 pages. And then we turned that into 30 days of prayer, just to kind of have another option. And so, but it's essentially the same content, just, redid a little bit and cut it down. Which brings us to the next one though. Make sure it is easy to consume. So unless it's like something like I just said, the 30 days of prayer, that's obviously more than one page because it's over 30 days. But sometimes we see opt-ins where it's like 15 pages on one topic. And I'm like,
it's a lot.
It's a lot. And so it's hard to get that quick win. It's hard to get that easy to consume when it's such a big thing. So break it down into, instead of teaching people 5 things, and it takes 15 pages, maybe just teach them one of those things in 2 pages and
go
then
really deep.
Yes. And get them really good in understanding and really solid. And then they can buy the thing that has the other 4 steps. So even though we want a lot of value, we don't want it to be hard to consume or really long. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then make sure there's something actionable in it. Something that they can do, like if you're in the health and wellness, like 3 things you can do today to stop craving sugar. And so they don't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be like, go get this tested and this, but what are just 3 things that I can start thinking about? And then when I'm really ready to move to the next step, I'm like, okay, I've already done those. Now I'm ready for her to teach me the next thing.
Yeah,
so
perfect. Just a quick reminder, if you guys will put your questions in the Q&A box so that we don't miss those. But I know that one of the questions was how to promote freebies. And that's actually next on our list because I think sometimes we overestimate how we're thinking, okay, I did a post like 2 weeks ago with my freebie. Okay, but only 5% of your Facebook audience and maybe 10% of your Instagram audience saw that. So when you're thinking about promotion, you need to be posting your freebie on multiple platforms and putting the links everywhere. So that means that you can have a link in your Instagram bio. And on your Instagram bio, remember what I talked to you guys about when we did the Instagram bio reviews, I think it was 2 months ago. And you have to put everything at a 5th or 6th grade level, right? So it has to say get my freebie below with a little icon pointing below. Because if you just say, I do homeschooling and I help parents everywhere pull their kids out of public school and have their first year of homeschooling successfully. And then in the link, where you can put your URL, if there's a freebie there, if you don't say, click on the link below. It's amazing how some people just don't know how to do that. Right. So make sure that you're putting the link everywhere, but you're also teaching people what to do, that they actually need to click on it. And I would always position it in terms of a problem that you're ready to solve or the pain points and why this freebie would give them an answer. Think of or we have, for instance, my book of prayers, which I think is still at jenniferallwood.com/devotional. Is that right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so you can actually buy that for $9.99, I think, on Amazon. And so a lot of times I'll post about it on Sundays and be like, hey, It's Sunday. Don't go spend $10 on Amazon. I just want to give you our ebook of prayers for free today. And so you can like have it for sale somewhere and also post about it on occasion on your social media to give it away for free. So I like to make sure that your pinned post, which is also now just your featured post on Facebook. I hate that they're doing that, but make sure that that is something that's getting people onto your email. The cover photo on your Facebook page. Remember, we talked last month that a lot of times your Facebook cover photo should talk about a link to your freebie. Remember that in that cover photo, those you can type www.jenniferallwood.com/devotional, but people can't click on that. So you have to put that in the description of your cover photo. You can do Pinterest pins. We have pins for all of our freebies that lead people back to my website so that they can opt in. Nell, where else can they be promoting?
You can post it. Oh, you just said Pinterest. The key is just reminding people of it often. You can't like, so here's what happens. People, they're so excited. They make a freebie, they get it all set up. They get the backend all set up. Maybe they had businesses help them. It's all going and working. And they post about it one time and they're like, okay, did it, check off the list.
They're like, titty, titty, da. Remember that's what Amy used to say when she was little, titty, titty, da, instead of ta-da.
But you have to keep doing it. You have to keep posting it. You have to keep talking about it. Every week, you need to be talking about some kind of freebie, at least once a week. And maybe it's not always the same one. Maybe you have 3 and you're kind of rotating through them. And it doesn't have to be a formula like every Monday is opt-in Monday, but you are just mentioning it wherever you can. If you go on anyone's podcast, if you coach in anyone's group, if you talk to anyone, do any kind of in-person thing, make sure you're talking about it. You can always have a QR code if it's ever anything in person for people to sign up. And so the QR code would just lead them to your landing page for them to sign up. But just anywhere you are, you need to talk about it and you need to continue to promote it and continue to talk about it.
One of the things we did not talk about because, most of the people that we're coaching don't have physical products or they're trying to shift them to a digital product. But if you are somebody that has a brick and mortar, you sell a physical product, a coupon is a really good way to get people opted in if you have a physical product. So it's 10% off, it's 15% off, it's free shipping on your first order, etc. But I 100% agree with Nell, like talking about it more and more and more is super helpful. And like, if you ever have somebody send you a DM on Instagram, let's say, so if I get somebody that says, hey, Jen, I'm trying to figure out, how to get my focus down and how to, really hone in on what it is that God has for me, et cetera. Do you have any tips? I'll send people to our freebie on that. And what I'll do is I'll screenshot that DM, and then I will edit the photo so that the person's name is not there, but that their profile picture is there. That's fine. And then I'll post it on my stories with the link to the freebie so that other people can see it. So it's almost like one of those things you just have to get in the habit of, almost like posting on social media. You think of it almost like that. Like growth is going to happen if A, you pay for it, or B, you just remember to put stuff in front of people. And most of us would prefer to just put stuff in front of people and have them opt in without having to run ads. Now we are running ads to some of our opt-ins, and I know we'll talk about that in a few minutes, but promoting it. And I guess we can talk about the ads thing now. So, in terms of promotion, it can be organic, like what I was just saying, or we can run ads to it. Now, do you want to tell them about some of our ads right now for our opt-ins?
Right now, we are getting people to sign up for our email list for less than $2 per email. So if you think about ROI, return on investment, right? So if you put, if you spent $200 to put back in the day when I used to have a Yellow Pages ad for my first business, which was a dance studio, and I spent $200 on that ad, I would see like, well, how many people came to me from that ad? And I could figure out, did I get a return on that investment? I saw somewhere the other day, the return on investment for email is something wild, like 40-something% or something. It's insane. It's huge. So if I can spend $2 or we can spend $2 to get someone on our email list with an ad, the chances that we are going to be able to make back not only that $2, but hundreds of dollars more. Because if eventually that person buys the better way or joins Inner Circle or joins our mastermind, it's worth the $2 to get 100%. Them on the email list if within the next 3 months they spend something else. So that $2 is to cold traffic. Yeah, so we're running that for cold traffic. And sometimes we get it down to like 130 depending on the week. Sometimes it's higher. Sunday was bad for all ads for Mother's Day. So if you were running any ads on Mother's Day, just know you were not alone on Sunday, but because everyone had a lot going on, but it picks back up. So that is it's to get someone to buy something on an ad is a much higher cost, but to get them to sign up for something, you can do that for low. So if you're like, I want to grow my email list and you have $10 a day and you can get 5 or 6 people on your email list every day, that's could be worth it for a lot of y'all.
Yeah. Now, would you talk about the follow-up and the funnel, like how they need to follow up after a couple of days and what that needs to look like? And then we'll start taking some of the questions, if that's okay.
Yes. Okay. So someone asked about the thank you page. So I was going to share my screen here just a second. Let me do jenniferallwood.com. I was finding one.
Have we given you the ability to share your screen?
I hope so.
Amazing.
Have you given me the ability to type correctly?
I know it is so hard to type correctly when there's people here watching. Even if they're not watching your hands, you still feel like
everyone's waiting for me. Okay, so here is the devotional, Jen's devotional. So down here, so this is just the process. So here I'm going to put my name and email. And I'm going to say, send me the free ebook. Once again, spelled out really clearly. So this is the thank you page. So this says, check your inbox for an email with my devotional. Be sure to check your junk and promotions folder because people sometimes can't find it. You can also download it here. So right here, I can click. Here's the download. I have it. It's ready to go. There it all is. It's also been sent to my email. So that is kind of the process. Then a few days later, you can send them another email. It's like, hey, how did you enjoy the devotional? You might even ask a question, because if you can get people replying back to your email, that is really good for kind of the email algorithm to work. So you can ask a question. What was your favorite part? Have you made it through day one? What is the one thing you're working on based on, something that maybe they read? What's the hardest thing? Use it also to get information on your, clients, like what they're really needing from you, that kind of thing. I want to show you this. This is an option that if you are wanting to, like, this is our Level Up Bootcamp. So here's your ChatGPT starter guide. And then it's also, so we're giving it to them, but then it also has everything else that they would need right there if they wanted to sign up for the next thing. So that's how you can add a upsell, and you can add a lot more text and all that kind of stuff. That's just a quick way to do it. Let's see, what else do I need to say? I think that's it on the follow-up. Okay. And then, once you might want to send them like 1 or 2 emails following up, you send them the actual thing, maybe 2 days later, you send them a follow-up, then maybe one more day after that, you send them one more follow-up, then just make sure they're on your weekly email list. So they're just going to start getting your weekly emails, and then they'll start buying from you. And
can I just say this? I know when Nell just said, like, make sure you send them a couple follow-up emails and then you're on your weekly email. And some of you inside, you're like, oh, I can't send a weekly email. I don't want to bother people. Listen, if I give you my email address, I fully expect you to email me. It's 2023. This isn't, a bait and switch. I know darn good and well, if I give somebody my email, that means they're going to email me. So I give them the email expecting to get something from you. And so if you are like, okay, I got people on my email list, but I'm never emailing them, like you're not really holding up your end of the deal, because they were expecting emails from you and you're not doing it. Now, some of you are like, but it's been 6 months since I've emailed people. Okay. So go back to emailing. Start today. It's been, 6 months of me eating nothing but straight sugar. Well, today, it's a new day and you got to start somewhere. Some of you may be concerned. I don't want to be, following up when people opt in with a lot of emails because they're going to unsubscribe. Okay. Those people were never going to be your buyers. So it's okay if people unsubscribe. Numbers I don't look at ever include our unsubscribe numbers. I just don't, because it's hard enough to run a business. And, just seeing who's like leaving me, like that hurts, right? So just don't look, serve the people that are there for the long haul and that really want the content that you've got for them. So, do you want to start with questions now? Or do you have something else you want to say? Go ahead.
Add to that real quick. The whole idea of an email list is to get people to buy from you. It's not just to grow an email list. And so if people are unsubscribing, that you're just refining your email list. Like take it as a win. You don't want to pay for people on your email list that aren't going to buy from you. And so when, like the goal isn't just to get a big number. The goal is to get people that will buy from you. So if I'm fine when they unsubscribe, honestly, because it's like, oh, you aren't going to be a buyer. I don't want to pay to send you any more emails anyway, because that's not the goal of the list. So
there you go. Okay, so some questions here. Shar says, I did a new freebie. I threw it into my pinned post, about to send it in an email to interested learners and buyers. So not sure what else to do other than sending it out like 500 times for them to see, maybe a reel with a freebie. Okay. So if they're already on your email list, you don't want to send them an email that says, hey, do you want this freebie necessarily? Unless Nell was talking about earlier, like it's just a nice give. The point is for you to put it in places to get new people onto your email list, right? So could you do a reel with a freebie? 100%. Just remember that there's nothing clickable on that reel. I can't click on the screen when you're on the reel. I can't click on, the description of the reel and go anywhere. So you're going to have to say on the reel, go up to the link in bio and get my freebie there. So some other ways that you can, you're saying you're not sure what else to do. Well, you could run ads to your freebie. You could be posting it because it sounds like you're talking about Instagram. Well, maybe also Facebook, but you could do other socials. You could be putting a link on TikTok. You could be putting a link on Twitter. You could be putting a link on Pinterest. So there's other social medias also. And remember, like when it comes to Instagram and or Facebook, be doing it on the feed and be doing it. You talked about reels, but also on stories. And so on stories, you no longer have to have 10,000 followers to get a link. You can easily put a link, with 10 followers. So do all of those different places, all of the different things. So is that helpful?
Yep.
Okay. I'll let you take the next one.
I own a furniture store. A percentage off or a dollar amount off a piece of furniture does not seem to be enticing people enough to sign up for our email list. Any ideas on whether, what else we can give as a freebie? So I'm going to say I have two thoughts here. The first one is make sure it's close enough to the sale, because here's what happens sometimes at stores. You know how they're like, sign up for our email list, but you can't use that coupon right now. You have to use it next time. And I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to get me to come back in another time. But if it's usually that, I probably won't sign up for it. But if they say you can get 10% off this current sale, like what you're doing right now, then I will do it. And then I'll be on their email list. So I would maybe change up the timing, even if it's online. Like if I am purchasing, can I use it on this time? If it's when you make people wait until the next time, which like I said, I understand the marketing behind that, but sometimes that's not enticing enough. Or I would say it needs to be at least 10%. Sometimes 5% is just not enough for people because that's not even the tax. And so I think people are kind of like, oh, that's not enough for me. So make sure it's enticing enough. But I do think there's other things you can offer as a freebie, especially as a furniture store. People are horrible at getting furniture that fits the room. Jen and I talk about this all the time. People buy tiny things.
I know, buy bigger, buy bigger.
Or tiny rugs, like you walk in, and there's tiny rug and like a big couch.
Do you have any of those tiny hands? They look like this. Ava has a pair of tiny hands. They're so funny.
But you can do something about like the rug size for the room. Like what size rug should you get for your room? Or how to position furniture on a rug, like in a living room versus a bedroom. Like, do you have it all the way up to your nightstands or you just have it at the end of your bed? All of those kind of things. So there's still things you can do, size. You can do different things about how to get furniture, how to move furniture well, get it in and out, how to dispose of furniture, all that kind of stuff. I think there's definitely opt-ins you can give them, but I wouldn't abandon the % off. I would look at that first. So,
Lori says, I use Google Docs in my virtual parties with the hook, get a free e-cookbook and drawing. Was wondering if having a link to my business page and joining a VIP group would be a good idea. If you're saying to get people onto your email list, I would not have them join another Facebook group to do that. If you're wanting to get them on your email list, I would not necessarily have them go like your business page. I'm not sure though that a Google Doc is the greatest way to deliver an e-cookbook and drawing. Nell, I'm sitting here thinking about like, what's the thing that you know, when you're at a restaurant to get the QR code. Like, what about doing a QR code for people? Well, those are virtual parties. Never mind. Okay. I was thinking for a second it was in-person parties, but I would just be giving people the link to, like, if they sign up for a virtual party, are you sending them the e-cookbook and drawing? Because if they're signing up for a virtual party, you should be grabbing their email anyway. So now they're on their email list. Like if we run ads and somebody that's never heard of me before signs up for Inner Circle or something, they're automatically now on my email list. So if somebody signs up for one of your parties, they should automatically just be on your email. I might be understanding your question incorrectly, Lori.
Yeah, I don't love a Google Doc if you can go straight to the email list, because there's just some things that can happen, you know, when people are just giving you their email, some email service providers won't take those emails because, like, have they really agreed, or how do you have their email? You can only enter so many at a time, that kind of thing. But the other thing is you're missing out on that thank you page where you could put your any kind of action. So it doesn't have to be sign up for another item, but if they get on your email list with your free cookbook and to be in a drawing, then on the thank you page, if you don't have anything else to sell them, you could say, I'd love for you to like my Facebook page. I'd love for you to, you know, buy this VIP group. I hope the VIP group is a paid group. So you can do that as a something on your thank you page. So leverage that real estate. Okay, Amanda says, how do we create our own calculator to use for free? Where do we make it? How do we create it? And certain fields are editable. So we use Google Sheets. So that way it's really easy to share. And then if you're good at Excel, you can be good at Google Sheets, or you can, there's a ton of YouTube videos on Google Sheets, but essentially you can protect all the other cells. I also make everything like a color and say only fill in the white ones so that people don't go and screw up the things they're not supposed to fill in. So I leave the white cells as like where people enter their data, and then it gives them their answers. And then I turn off the grid lines. I delete all the other columns so it doesn't look like a spreadsheet, because Jen says that spreadsheets make her brain hurt. So I try to not make things look like a spreadsheet and I give them to people. So they're all solid color. They don't look like a spreadsheet, I promise. And then whenever you go to get a Google link, at the very end of the Google link, it has like sharing equals question mark, blah, blah, blah. If you delete that and just write the word copy, when someone opens it, it'll make them make a copy. So that is the little hack to where they open it and they get their own copy, instead of like, you're not sharing yours with everyone, you're sharing the ability for them to make a copy.
Yep. And again, if some of this stuff you're like, shoo, like I am right now, contact businessagency.com and let somebody else make it for you. So Shar is wondering how to do the thank you page upsell. If it's actionable, you need to gamify it.
No, I showed it a while ago. You can just, you're just combining two pages. So whatever you want to sell, just combine that with here is the thing that I'm giving you for free.
Yeah. Mandy says, what are some awesome freebies that could come from a product-based business? She already offers a welcome 15% off. She puts stickers and thank you cards, Western hair ties in her shipped orders. What are things that I can add or do differently? I still think on a product-based business like that the coupon is the very best thing to do in terms of an opt-in. Nell, if you think any differently, let me know.
I agree. It's the top one. Now I know sometimes it's hard to put that in your profit margin, like a 15% off. If you don't have room in your profits for 15% off, you need to raise your prices. Because everyone should have at least, 10% wiggle room for you to be able to offer things like that. But you can, depending on what your product is, like I said earlier, you can do some education around your product, how to wear it, how to use it, things like that, depending on what your product is.
Rachel says, can you talk a little bit more about running ads to your freebie? What are some best practices and things to consider? Definitely the targeting. You want to make sure that, and targeting, by the way, has gotten a lot harder with Facebook ads ever since they did the changes to iOS. So I'll let Nell kind of talk about ads. She knows way more about the ads than I do, but the targeting is critical.
Mm-hmm. And then just making sure that it's really specific to, like, talk in your ad to who you want to open it. So make someone relate to your ad. So even if your targeting is off, meaning more people are seeing it than the people that are your target market, they weed themselves out because your ad is really specific. So if you are a homeschool mom who is teaching high schoolers, this is for you. So even if the targeting's off, I know specifically if this is for me because you're talking directly to me in the ad. So I would do that. And then the key, I think, is just checking every single day. So if you're running an ad every single morning or every single night, you should be looking at how much was spent, how many people clicked on it, how many people got on the list, like what's the conversion, and then see, is that enough or do I need to make an adjustment? Make an adjustment, run it for a few days, and then make another adjustment. So you can't just, it's not a set it and forget it. Ron Popeil, do you remember Ron Popeil with the, someone has to remember Ron Popeil. It was the rotisserie chicken or the dehydrator or one of those things. So Diana said yes. And he would say, set it. And the whole audience would say, and forget it.
Oh, you're kidding. No, I know nothing about this person.
It was an infomercial.
Hilarious.
And so anyway, it is not a set it and forget it. When you are running ads, you have to be checking them every day. So that's one of the first things that I do every morning is look at our ads. So that's the key right there.
Michelle says her online store is going to launch this weekend. She's checking to make sure she's got everything right. When the store opens, do I have to create and upload images of what I'm selling? Or do I just add my website link both on Facebook and Instagram? I'm really confused. Okay, so both. So you want people to have the link to your website on your Instagram and Facebook bio, and then you want to continually send people to individual things on your website.
Mm-hmm.
So think of all the other online stores, Michelle, that you follow and emulate what they do. Find an online store that sells something similar to what you do, follow their social media, and because they've tested and tried, and rather than you reinventing the wheel, watch what they do on Instagram. Are they doing a carousel of 6 different pairs of pants that they have for sale right now? Then are they doing a reel where they show a dress in 3 different sized bodies? Like those are all really great ways to send people to an actual product or your website, because it needs to be both and, if that makes sense.
Yes. Okay. Dale says, when you reply to an opt-in email, who sends the response emails to thank you for joining? Can that be set up in your email? Okay. So, so we have Jen at jenniferallwood.com. It is set up in our Google workspace. So it has a Google inbox. So it can be used as just like we use that for customer service. So if Mandy sends you an email and you send her back one, it's Jen at jenniferallwood.com. That email is also what we use to send emails with in our email service provider. So whether you're using MailChimp or ConvertKit or Aweber or Entreport, whatever it is you're using, when we send an email from Entreport, it sends from Jen at jenniferallwood.com. So when someone replies back to it, it replies back to that Google inbox. Does that make sense? So it's sending from our email service provider, whichever one you're doing. So it looks like it says sent from Jen at jenniferallwood.com, even though we're using an email service provider to do that. And then when someone replies back to that email, it goes into Mandy's inbox and Mandy replies. And then the conversation is just inside of the Google email at that point.
Hopefully that makes sense.
Let me know.
Okay.
Let me know if it's helpful. But the back and forth is in a separate place than where you're sending all the emails from.
Vicky wants to know what platforms are we using to create our sign-up pages. She's using WordPress, and she's mixing it with MailerLite, and it's pretty limited on how she can arrange things. What are we using to create our pages?
We are using a variety of things. We use Entreport. We use a lot of different. We use Funnel Gorgeous.
I was going to say Funnel Gorgeous,
but some of them are very limiting. Like MailerLite sign-up forms are MailChimp, MailerLite. All of that is going to be pretty limiting.
Nell, may I ask a question?
What?
Is there anything that we're going to have coming up in, say, like the next 60 days that could be helpful to our inner circle people with this? Very. Dun, dun, dun.
Wink.
Wink, wink, Vicky. So if you're struggling, yes. Then if you're struggling, we can help.
Just hang tight a little bit longer. Just make it a little bit longer.
Yes. Jen McClure loves that I raise my hand. We all know Nell really runs the show, and I'm just here for the fun. Okay. April West says if she has 0 people on her email list, what are the first actionable steps that she needs to do? Is it develop her freebie first? 100%. 100%. I would, because if somebody just said, hey, get on my email list, but they're not giving me something in exchange for it, like people hold their email pretty tight. Like if you go to check out at a store and somebody says, can I get your email? Is it just me, or how many of you say no? Because I say no. And I always make it a joke. I'm like, oh no, I already get enough emails. I always say no. But if they say we'd love to send you a 25% off coupon, I'm like, okay, so it's Jennifer. And, and so think about, like, you have to give them something, whether it's a coupon, if it's a product, or whether it's a freebie of some sort. Because people don't just want to give you their email just for the sake of giving you their email. So Terry Donahue wants to know, after people join your email list, what should you send them? So, I mean, this depends, Terry, because you're on my email list, right? Look at like what we send. So we try to give value. Hey, here's some podcasts I think that you would really enjoy. Here's a couple tips. Here's a new course that I have coming up, a workshop that I'm launching this week. Here's a Mother's Day picture, and I think you should sign up for my workshop. Like, think about other people's email lists that you are on. Think about which emails do you open and why, and then apply that to your industry. People overthink what they should send so much. And so then what happens is you're not sure what to send. So then you don't send anything. And then before you know it, you've had months that have gone on without contacting your email list. And so then when you do send an email, they're like, who's Terry Donahue? What did I sign up for? So don't let too much time go, because think about just how busy people's inboxes are, how busy the internet is, how things are coming at people from every single angle. So like, don't let grass grow under your feet. You know what I mean? Like, make sure you're just loving on people, give them tips, give them tricks, give them industry secrets, give them an update that you think that they'd be aware of, give them, here's what's coming up, mark your calendar. It doesn't all have to be emails this long, by the way. We do something that we call a Brian Dixon style email. My friend Brian Dixon, I think, is just classic. Brian Dixon style is like a 3-line email. Hey, I've got this workshop that I think you would love. We start at 1:00 today. Here's the last link to join. Like, he sends stuff like that all the time. No frill, no pictures, 3 lines with a link. And so it can be really that simple. So yeah. Hopefully that helps. Okay.
I lost my idea. If I do not have the follow-up set up, should I wait to do an opt-in? It kind of has to happen at the same time. So just having the PDF or having the tool, unless you have like the form for them to put in their email and the reply back, you have to have both of those things to make it work. Now, you don't have to have the 2 or 3 follow-up emails. You don't have to have anything to sell. You don't have to have any of that, but you do have to have the form where they put in their email, and then the thank you page where you deliver the thing, and then at least one email going to them with their freebie opt-in. So those things have to all kind of happen at the same time in order for it, like the process, to work. Biz assist. They can get that set up for you in a few hours. So that's one of those non-negotiable things.
Amy says, how often do you change your freebie and what prompts it? So a lot of times what prompts it is Jen has an idea. And I'm like, hey guys, maybe we should, and they help me kind of flesh that out. Or if we feel like we are slowing down on getting new people onto our email list. Now, what did you tell me the other day? We've added 10,000 people to our email list in the last, I can't remember how long, but
I think.
Do what?
In the last quarter.
In the last quarter, we've added 10,000 people to our email list. Now, if all of a sudden we see like, that go down to 1,000 this month, then that may mean we need to do a refresh, do something different. As long as we've got a Facebook ad that's working well to get people on our email list, like, we're not touching that one. You know what I'm saying? If the industry changes, if the landscape of the economy changes, if, what I want to talk about changes, then I think that's what prompts it, if that makes sense. And in terms of changing our freebie, it's not necessarily that we're changing, but we have a list. And there'll be, like I said, Sundays seems like a good time to talk about prayer. So here's my devotional. Somebody asked me about, I struggle with knowing how to title my emails, and they send me a DM. So I screenshot that. I put it on my stories, and I'm like, hey, I just got this question. If you struggle with email lines, here's our freebie for that. So I think people's questions prompt it. I think, there's lots of different things that can prompt it, not necessarily a change, because we always have freebies. It's just, what are we promoting at any given time? Yes, no.
It's my hand too. Sometimes it's also depending on what you're going to offer next, like
Yes.
what you're launching. So we have like a coaching quiz and would you make a good coach and some like things like that. And so when we're getting ready to launch Better Way, we're going to push those opt-ins a lot more, because the follow-up to those opt-ins is join our challenge, join our boot camp, and then those people, we're going to ask them to join the Better Way. So depending on what you're offering, you might change it up too.
Heather says she's running a couple of ads right now. When you check them, what should I be checking specifically? Do you mean reach, etc.? So if you're running ads to get people on your email list and you're not actually getting people on your email list, then that's not working well. Like that would be the obvious reason to me, who's not super techie. Now I'll let Nell give you the techie answer.
I would look at your click-through rate, like your outbound click-through rate. I would look at your cost per click. So, and you can find all of this in your ads manager dashboard. So, and then we put it in a separate spreadsheet, so that we can just track it each day, but you can find it all there. So click-through rate, your cost per click, and then see how many people are actually signing up for your email list, and then how much you spent that day, and then divide that. So let's say you had 5 people sign up for your email list, you spent $10, that would be $2 per person. So as long as you're good with $2 per person, then you move on to the next day. If you're not, then you look at those other things and you're like, well, my click-through rate was less than 1%. Well, we want our click-through rate to be at least 1%. So that means that not enough people are clicking. So then I need to go to the ad copy and be like, why aren't people clicking on this? Let me change the ad copy, that kind of thing. So hopefully it doesn't be too much, but I check every single day for ads, and we make adjustments sometimes every day. Sometimes we'll go a few days.
Back when I used to be doing all of our ads, Jen, and and our budget was smaller than what it is now, I checked them and it was a couple times a week. So related to that question, Vicky says, what do you think about Pinterest ads? She gets most of her traffic from Pinterest. Do you have a training on creating ads there? I do not, but you can easily go to YouTube and type in, how do I create my first Pinterest ad? And the thing is, if you're seeing people come to your website from Pinterest by way of that ad, then that's working. If that's where most of your traffic is already coming from. So we have not had really good luck with Pinterest ads. So we do not run those at this point. So yeah. I'll let you go next. Though.
A couple of quick questions. Amanda says, does businesses have a Kajabi expert? How can I get connected? We do have people that work in Kajabi. And the awesome thing about Businessist is even if they don't have an answer, they have a team of people. So when businesses, if you're working with a VA from Businessist and there's something that she's not sure, she has access to me, to our whole team, to Team Allwood. And so they can get whatever answer they need. So we use Kajabi. So I would say we're kind of experts at it. And so we can help if by chance they don't know the answer, but go to businessagency.com. And then Heather said,
I missed Heather. I was going back up that.
She just wanted to talk about doing a QR code for her landing page freebie to get on her email list and display it at my trainings. Yes. So if you do anything in person, just have it printed in like a little frame, put it either up at the front by your register, by, wherever your set kind of table is set up. The key though, is you have to point it out to people. So if you're checking people out, if you have a register, you say, hey, do you want to sign up for our email list? I can give you, if you, when you show me you've signed up, I'll give you 10% off right now. Or if you're doing an in-person class, say, anyone who signs up for my email list tonight gets 10% off their next class. And you say, here it is. And just say, come and show me your screenshot and I'll help you get signed up for the next class. So you have to mention it and you have to do that second step. You can't just have the QR code, but having it makes it so much easier.
And the other thing is, Heather, if you're doing in-person things, like when I used to do the home show in Kansas City, I would have a giveaway. And in order to be entered for the giveaway, they had to give me their email address. So literally they're writing it on a piece of paper, which then is kind of a pain in the butt to transfer it over to your contact record management system, but it does work. So, okay, 2 more. Go ahead now.
Natasha says that I happened to go into my Square account and notice that people have bought from me and have checked the box that she didn't even know existed that says email subscribed. So I have almost 100 subscribers. Look at that. She just found them, 100 subscribers.
I love it.
I send emails through there since that is the list, or do I have to go through my ESP like Entreport or MailChimp? If you don't have somewhere else, you can use Square. You can use Square as your list. if you do have somewhere else, you can, because those people check that box, meaning those people have agreed to get emails from you. Just because someone buys something from you on some websites, you don't have access to their emails, like Etsy. Just because someone buys something from you at Etsy does not mean you can email them. They have to have,
why I don't love Etsy.
they have to have agreed to receive emails from you. But if you have some email set up somewhere else, like say you're not using Square for email, you're using ConvertKit, then you can export all of those and import them to ConvertKit and send them there. So either way, but you have the emails, so start sending them to them.
Last question is from Michelle, who says, does everything I have on my website need to also be on Facebook's Meta Suite and Instagram, like everything I'm selling? No, it doesn't. And sometimes, especially if your inventory changes really quickly, that can really become a pain in the butt. So no, it doesn't have to be on there, Michelle, not everything. So
and it depends. There's a lot of ways, like, do you have the store, like the commerce store connected to your Facebook or not? Personally, unless I'll see what you think about this, Jen. I don't buy things from people's Facebook stores. I go to their website.
I go to their website as well.
Unless it's a small like number of items and you've got a really good ad going or something like that. I don't like the time and energy to connect your Facebook or your Shopify with Facebook and Instagram. Sometimes I don't think that's worth it.
I agree. And sometimes it's just really clunkily and doesn't work well.
Yeah. So just send them to your website. They can buy it there.
Yeah. Okay. Was this helpful for you guys? Did you learn anything about freebies? Did anybody get an idea that maybe they didn't have before? That's our hope. And so if you still have more questions, go ahead and put them inside of the Facebook group. If you want to run an idea by, the other people in the Facebook group, go ahead and put something in there. I'm thinking about doing this for a freebie. What are your thoughts? See if we can get some feedback on that. Don't forget that next Wednesday, Nell is doing the work session on next Wednesday, the 24th. Yes, ma'am.
So if you have tech questions or you have your freebie and you're trying to figure something out about it, bring those things to next week.
Next Wednesday. That's a really great point. Bring those next Wednesday.
Yeah, bring those things next week. You can put them in the Facebook group too, but if there's something you want me to look at, or we're trying to get something connected, or any of like the more of the process stuff, bring that next week and we'll have time to work on it. We'll play some good music. We'll get through things. It'll be a fun time.
You do music?
Sometimes when we're in the middle of working.
I want to be funner. Okay. Natasha just made my day. She says the inner circle is just priceless. Thank you, Natasha. You're my favorite. You're my favorite. You're all my favorite, but you're my favorite. And then the Wednesday after, remember, is the last day of the month. It's kind of like the bonus week. And we're going to do the connect call, the insiders connection call. It'll be that 31st at 10 a.m. CST. If you have never come to one, you should. It's going to be your chance to meet other people who are in the group, make some new connections, learn from each other. All the details are in the Facebook group. So go to that. Okay. All right. Nell, thank you for being here today.
You're welcome. I
appreciate you and your brilliance.
It's email.
I know. Bless you all. We'll see you guys real soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, friend. I hope that you enjoyed this training from my inner circle. I love my inner circle. You know that I've had this group like 8 years, right? A long, long time. A long, long time. And don't forget that we do have a special birthday sale discount going on right now. You can go to jenniferallwood.com/birthday sale because it's my birthday week. I'm going to be 52, so you're going to get 52% off your first month. And I think that's the cleverest thing I've heard in a long, long time. So anyway, be blessed. I see you inside the inner circle. I hope that this gave lots and lots of value to you, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.